I think we're out of luck. They said it's gonna last about 4 to 6 weeks. This war. I got it going a lot longer than that. I got it going way longer than that. It's already been 2 weeks. They're saying Iran's out of ammo. They ain't got no more bombs. They're shooting blanks now. I disagree. I think they're gonna find a way to get some weapons, and I think they're gonna keep this war going as long as possible, because it affects the American people as well as it does affect the Iranian people. That's just the honest truth, man. Let me know y'all thoughts about that down in the comments below, man. I'd really like to know y'all thoughts. Make sure you guys hit that like button, that subscribe button too, man, if y'all are new, man. I appreciate y'all, but we're gonna get into the next subject, and we got a state senator, John Kennedy, one of the funniest senators on the internet, obviously, but also one of the realest. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes he says a lot of good things, sometimes he says a lot of nonsense. But he has something to say today about what's going on with the Iran war and how he feels about the US allegedly blowing up a school. And we're going to hear what he has to say about that. Let's tune into the video. Make sure you hit that like button for your boy.
White House today assuring the Pentagon will release its report into a strike on a girls' school in southern Iran on February 28th. An emerging body of evidence, including CNN and expert analysis, indicates the United States was likely responsible for the strike, which killed at least 168 children and 14 teachers, according to Iranian state media. Over the past week, though, the Trump administration...
Let's be honest. Nobody wants to see kids getting blown up. I don't really care if we're at war. I don't really care if we got a problem with somebody's government. Kids are kids. Yes, they can be trained. Yes, they can be molded. Yes, they can be formed into something evil, but we don't know. And they should not be a target at the end of the day.
Has declined to confirm U.S. responsibility.
It shouldn't be a target.
The United States would not deliberately target a school.
Did the United States airstrike a girls' elementary school and kill 175 people?
Not that we know of, Sean, and the Department of War is investigating this matter.
No, in my opinion, and based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran. We think it was done by Iran, because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
We're still investigating, and that's where I'll leave it today.
Whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a tomahawk is very generic. It's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated.
Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation.
I hope the U.S. didn't do it. I hope the U.S. didn't do it, but if they did, man, that is sad. That is actually very, very unfortunate, and we gotta think twice about where we at least bombing. Like, you can't just be bombing schools. That's not cool, bro.
All right, joining me now, Republican Senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy. I do want to start, though.
Hopefully
you actually talked to
I'm
NBC
wrong.
News last night about that strike on the girls' school, and you said it was terrible. We made a mistake. I'm just so sorry that it happened. Why did you feel like it was important to say that?
Because I think it's the truth. I mean, we're investigating, but I'm not going to hide behind that. I think it was a terrible, terrible mistake. The investigation may prove me wrong. I hope so. The kids are still dead, but I think it was a horrible, horrible mistake. I wish it hadn't happened. I'm sorry it happened. Yeah, I can assure it wasn't intentional. That's the sort of thing Russia does. We don't do that. But, you know, I don't see any other possible explanation. And when you make a mistake, you ought to admit it. Most people understand no one's perfect. But I don't think our men and women who are fighting for us did it intentionally. I'll never believe that.
Fair enough. So speaking of the men and women that are fighting for us, I want to play something that Lindsey Graham said about what it's like to go home and talk to people about this war. Let's watch what he said, and I'll ask you about it in a second. Take a look.
I go back to South Carolina. I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, to our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America.
What do you say right now to your constituents in Louisiana?
It's crazy how America is the leading cause of this war, but the Middle East is taking the hits. Like, I don't know how we got away with it. But they're hitting each other over there. And I'm trying not to laugh because it's really sad, but they're hitting each other. They're not touching America. Not like that. Not yet, at least. But how and why aren't they trying? That's another question. I don't want them to try. Don't get me wrong, but why are they not trying?
Louisiana, to men and women there. Are you asking them to go fight?
A lot of questions going on.
Well, Lindsay's certainly entitled to his opinion. Casey, I don't want to have to send our men and women anywhere. I don't. I don't want America to be the world's policeman. But sometimes some of the bad guys step up and try to be the world's policeman. And America has to intervene. And that's what happened in Iran. Our intelligence clearly showed that Iran had restarted its program to develop a nuclear warhead, that it had really increased its ballistic missile manufacturing. They were producing between 200 and 600 missiles a month. Our intelligence showed that their game plan was to stockpile so many missiles that it would insulate their nuclear program. In other words, if we tried to do something about their nuclear program, they would destroy the entire Middle East and fire into Turkey and every place else. So the president decided to act. And our goal is very simple. It's to destroy Iran's Navy, destroy the Air Force, destroy their missile production capability, destroy their drone capability.
And if that takes boots on the ground?
I will not take boots on the ground. We can do it. In fact, we've already destroyed about 75% of their launchers. And I think you'll see the president finish that job, and then he'll get out.
Let me know if y'all believe that we ain't going to have to put boots on the ground. Because from what I'm hearing, recently, they're saying that there's another nuclear site that is underground, and it's close to Iran, or it's not far from the capital, and it's underground, and the only way they can get to it, because the bunker busters are not reaching them, they're not hitting them accurately, or they're not damaging it. The only way they can possibly get there is by putting troops on the ground. That's the only way. That's what they're saying. That's the word on the street, allegedly. Now, if we have to put troops on the ground, we just entered into a whole nother realm of war. All right, right now, we're just seeing fighter jets and we're just seeing bombs getting shot back and forth. But troops on the ground is a whole nother. We're going to see a lot of dead people, man. It's unfortunate, but we're going to see a lot of dead people.
I don't know
if that happens.
I think it's a matter of weeks. I do not believe the president will send boots or put boots on the ground. That's a whole different story. And as I said earlier this week, I don't think I'm wrong on that. But if he does, the thud you hear will be me face planting from surprise, from fainting, because I don't think he will.
Fair enough. I do want to make sure I follow up with you on what we saw with the Department of Homeland Security, because you, of course, pressed Kristi Noem at that hearing, and then shortly thereafter, the president fired her from her job as Secretary of Homeland Security. Now, the topic that you pushed her on was the $220 million that she spent running TV ads. We pulled some of the numbers. Some movies that cost less to produce than this ad campaign include Top Gun Maverick, Barbie, Gladiator, Frozen, The Hunger Games, Oppenheimer, Iron Man, Deadpool, Jaws, Jurassic World. Do you think this is why the president fired her, or was it more than that?
I think it was sort of the final straw on the camel's back. Look, I accept responsibility or blame or whatever you want to call it. Nobody put me up to it. Nobody knew I was going to do it. Nobody looked at my questions. I had about 8 questions, 8 issues I wanted to talk to the secretary about. I got to two of them. I was appalled at some of her answers. So was the president when he called me that night. I could tell he was going to replace her. Look, I don't bear her any ill will. I mean, she executed the president's policy on securing the southern border. But when I see spending porn, $250 million spent on what in effect are political ads through a no-bid contract to her friends, I'm going to call it out every single time. I don't care who did it. And there are a lot of other problems over there as well. They were they were distracting from Congress's agenda, from the president's agenda, from more important matters. And it was, I did what I did, and the president was, as I said, he was pretty worked up.
Corruption.
All right, Senator John Kennedy, thanks very much for joining us.
Corruption. You heard it here from Senator John Kennedy, man. Let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below. I'd really like to know y'all thoughts. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button for your boy. I'd really appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button too if y'all are new, man.